sad as saying, if what ifs was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. Won't you come drink with me?
What if money is really the root of all evil? What if the government's really killing poor people? What if Trump was right, securing our borders? What if the color of my skin makes my life shorter? What if all this pain leads to more violence? What if I speak out and you remain silent? What if I never lied and I only told the truth? What if you knew God and you really had all the proof? What if love's really the most powerful weapon? What if this the last truth you hear before you go to heaven? What if you believe it, believe like it don't matter? What if it's sin that's making us die faster? What if these weren't questions? What if you had the answers? What if it's this fake food giving us cancer? What if I repent and I never gon' sin again? What if I leave this blank and I let you gon' fill it in?
Hey, you know the answers to these questions, but you just like me. The truth, the truth's hard to hear. The truth hurts, man.
What if the struggle's real, man, so you pursue God? What if I kept it tucked and I never went and let it off? What if I ain't go to jail? What if I ain't stole no dope? What if I was younger knowing everything that I know? What if when I die I'm just for everything I say? What if truth ain't arbitrary? Yeshua the only way? What if death ain't far off, right around the block? What if I was born blind? What if I could never talk? What if I ain't never spit? What if I ain't never wrote? What if I ain't articulate trying to convey what I know? What if I was rich? What if I wasn't broke? What if I died in my sins, never knowing hope? What if hell is real when you've been told all along? What if you started paying attention, stop pretending this a song? What if one bullet, all it takes to stop your heart? What if I got more questions but don't know where to start?
My bro asked, what would you do if you had 2 days left to live? Would you really take that time to get right with God? Would you?
What if God gave you breath and he took it back today? What if you stood before him naked? What would you say? What if I had died and I never had a second chance? What if Christ's crucifixion was called the great romance? What if you listen but y'all never really hear? What if I wasn't a Christian? What if I ain't really care? What if you could feel my pain if you had lived my life? What if I ain't exist? What if I had got it right? What if I could take back all my bad decisions? What if Jesus ain't in the seed and I had got sifted? What if I ain't had no hope? What if I ain't lived my life? Where would I be if it wasn't for Jesus Christ?
Thanks for sipping with me.